Good day, fellow gamers. My name's John, and I'm here to talk to you today about some tips and tricks to my favorite game, Diablo 2. I'll be playing as a Summon Necro. This is my current ladder character. I showcased a more expensive version in an earlier video if you're interested. So, the first tip I'd like to share with you is that no one is ever going to teach you how to dupe something for free. Um, You'll probably see a lot of games in the beginning, people trying to scam you. They'll tell you, let me hold on to your piece and you'll get two in return, or drop all your items and run to town and, you'll get two, or they'll try to hostile you and kill you 20 times and your body will pop and they'll get all your items. So basically, they're just trying to scam your items. Um, if someone wants to give you something for free in this game, they'll drop it on the ground or they will open a trade window and click trade. Um, so just be wary with your items. Second tip, there's an awesome bug in this game where if you die, all your items are attached to your body. You're allowed to run back and get your body to retrieve your items. For some reason, the game also allows you to equip new items while trying to retrieve your body. If you do equip new items while trying to retrieve your body, and you die again, one of the sets of items disappears forever, unless you're able to retrieve all of your bodies. So if you get into a pickle where there's, a horde of 30 enemies, you've died a few times, um, you went down there thinking, I died with my best gear, I put on my side gear and then was surprised that I died again. Now both sets of gear could potentially be lost. Uh, so, so if you die, never put new gear on to get your body. The best thing to do is save and exit, take the 10% XP penalty, and move on. Because it's going to take a lot longer to replace your gear than it is to replace that 10% XP. My next tip: if you play hardcore, if you die, that's it. You have to start over from scratch. Your character becomes unplayable. It's not like Path of Exile. It doesn't transfer over into the standard league. It's just gone forever. You got to be careful with people offering free rushes in hardcore. A lot of people think it's funny to get a level 15 guy and say, "Oh yeah, we'll rush you." You take the portal. There's 30 enemies around. You get one shot by them. Um, they laugh. You're out. An hour, 2, 3 hours, however long it takes you to level. So just be careful of that. Sometimes it's better to just run yourself and be safe. So the fourth tip: always double check the roles of unique items, and try to learn their values. So there's some items that if it has a low roll, like let's say a Raven Frost, for example, which is a unique ring, it can have like I think 15 to 20 dexterity. If you get a 15 dexterity one, people aren't going to trade you that much because they can get 5 more dexterity, and dexterity is usually a skill that people want to put the bare minimum into, so that way they have more points to allocate for health. So a 15 dex Ravenfrost, might get you a pull rune. Whereas a 20 dex Ravenfrost, people aren't ever going to have to replace that because it's got the highest roll. They won't have to use a token to, fix their stats. They might pay you, a Mal or an Istrune for the same thing. So it's very important to, you know, first be able to realize what has potential to be a good unique item, and then also realize, are the rolls good or why are people looking for that roll? Um, the next tip, um, when loot drops, it's basically a big free for all. So you should always be on the lookout for gear. Obviously, be a little bit more safer if you're playing hardcore. Don't, um, you know, run into a big pack to try to grab that, mid rune and risk, ripping for it. But if you're in softcore, most people are going to try to rush to anything that will seem to benefit them. Um, Most people are willing to absolutely risk that 10% XP loss, you know, to get that pull rune, or you know, get that thing that might have the right amount of sockets, and maybe it's ethereal, or who knows. People are going to instantly try to pick up anything that they feel they can trade. So you got to do the same thing, or your character will, you'll be level 90 with gear from Nightmare still. Just, people are greedy in this game. Um, which leads to my next tip as far as the greed goes. Trade often. So people tend to amass great hordes of gear in this game. Historically, people would make, you know, 2, 3, 5, 10 accounts of mules. Every ladder, filled to the brim with all these great items that, you know, just sit there until the next league, or until the account expires and they didn't use the items. You know, the person that could have used the items didn't use the items, so in turn their characters are weaker, which means there's even less things like high runes, or your griffins, your fathoms, your Tyrael's mites. Um, the more trades you can get, and the more the community can grow as a whole. The more stuff's going to be available to the better players too, just because people will be able to farm faster. So if you could hold on to something, because in a month or two you'll get a pull rune, where maybe you'll get a lem now, sell it for the lem, because at the end of the ladder you can't, you're not, well, I mean, you can use stuff in non-ladder, most people don't. Um, it doesn't carry over, so make your game more fun, make someone else's game a little bit more fun. Um, you know, you don't need the super godliest gear to clear all content. You'll see a lot of my other videos show you can do most things on a budget. Um, it's like, help each other out. So then my next tip: learn map layouts. There's certain maps that either have a guaranteed direction, or 75% of the maps go one way, 25 go the other. So you just always go a specific way. Like for instance, 99% of the time, Countess in Act 1 Hell, if you follow the left wall, it'll usually lead to the next level, making the key run or rune run a lot faster. Mephisto in Hell, usually people also tend to go to the left for that. That's the quickest way to find the door for most maps. Sometimes it is to the right, but usually it's to the left. Um, the thing is, if it's not to the left, eventually, if you go left enough, you end up right. So you will find it if it was to the right too. If you know what I mean by that. Um, so yeah, learn the map layouts. Some of them just never change. It'll make you be able to clear things quicker, get to bosses quicker. Just overall get more loot, um, get more levels. Um, the next tip would be familiarize yourself with the website Ariat Summit. It's been around for probably 20 years, however long Diablo's been out for. There's almost an unlimited amount of resources on there, down to, what every rune does, all the recipes that are known, um, breakpoints, like how much cast rate do you need to, be able to shoot 2 fireballs per second instead of one. Um, it just, there's like loot tables, item monster levels, resistance, monsters resistances in different zones. Like it'll, maybe help you pick out a path to farm. So Ariat Summit is a huge resource. And then my last tip, honestly, is really make friends. Um, there's many builds in this game, like a lot that I showcase, that are great for solo, great for a private game with just you in it. Um, but this game is made so much better if you have a steady group, or even if you're always grouping with a bunch of random people. because no matter what character you have, there's always at least one character that synergizes well with it. So like take my Necro right here for example. Um, if I was with a sorceress, this guy would be telekinesis or static fielded down. He'd have 50% HP. Um, I'd be able to kill him a hell of a lot quicker. Um, if I had a barb with me, I'd have battle orders. Paladin, I'd have some damage auras. As it is, I'm kind of getting destroyed right now. Not sure why. Just need to get a little closer, but yeah, that's about it. Honestly, making friends is huge because the more people you have in your game, the more XP you get per monster. It increases the amount of drops that are given. Um, if you're struggling with some immunes, having a second person, maybe they build to counter that immune, and now you guys can, do chaos runs together really quickly, get levels together, get loot together. It just makes that game, it makes this game just that much better. Um, but yeah, so if you liked my tips and tricks, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I've been trying to put out a bunch of videos that, give basic build ideas, really budget ones that within a couple days you can be at the full budget build, and, then you can scale it up if you want to get, better and better gear. But feel free to check out those videos and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. Thanks for watching.